Welcome back to the Candle Business Podcast. I'm your host, Erica, and I have my own small candle business called Memory Box Candle Co. that I run with my husband, Chris. Together, we also have a wonderful 2-year-old little boy that keeps us very busy outside of this candle business. And on this channel and this podcast, I love to just share everything that I've learned thus far on my candle business journey. And today's episode, I want to go over seven different ways that you can make money in your candle business. This is going to help you diversify. So when you hear people say diversify your income, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have all these different businesses in order to have multiple streams of income. You can diversify and have multiple streams of income within the same kind of business. And that's what I'm going to break down in today's episode. So the first way that you can make money in your candle business, and this is probably the most typical way that you hear when people are talking about starting a candle business or starting a business of any kind, is doing direct-to-consumer sales through some kind of online platform. So all this means is that you have an Etsy shop, a Shopify store, whatever it is, and people are purchasing from your shop and you ship it to them. So you are shipping directly to the consumer who is going to be using your product. Now, again, this is typically the biggest revenue stream for most candle businesses and most businesses in general, because you have a wider range of people that can purchase from you, especially if you offer international shipping, but it's just really broadens or opens up the potential of people being able to purchase from you. So that's the number one way. Pretty typical, nothing crazy there or anything, but it is a very great way for you to make income in your candle business is by having some kind of online platform that they can shop through. I know a lot of people that are just getting started, they're wondering, can I just sell on Instagram right away? Can I just sell on TikTok? You can, but I highly recommend that you have some kind of separate store online presence. I really recommend a Shopify store just because you're able to really focus on your branding, and Etsy allows for some kind of branding, but it's still just an Etsy shop within the umbrella of the Etsy platform, whereas Shopify, you can have your own custom domain. So it can be, for us, it's memoryboxcandleco.com. So you're able to have your own separate space online. So I recommend Shopify, but as long as you have somewhere that you are selling, then you are opening yourself up to selling anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world if you want to, and selling directly to that end consumer. If you're thinking about starting a candle business, whether you're in the testing phase or you're preparing to launch, I have something that's going to make your life so much easier. It's my candle business launch checklist. This checklist will walk you through everything that you need to be thinking about and getting done before you launch your business so that you can feel confident and prepared. And the best part is that when you do download it, you're going to get my weekly emails that's packed with tips and advice and encouragement to help you along your candle business journey. So you can head to ericamariemorris.com/checklist to download yours right now. The next way to make money in your candle business still has to do with directly selling to the end consumer, but it's a different way of thinking about things. And this is how you can really expand into earning reoccurring monthly revenue. So this can be done through offering subscription boxes. This is something that I have quite a bit of candle making friends, but a few that I'm a little bit more close with than others. And a lot of them are offering subscription boxes. Now, this is something that I thought about doing when we went through the rebrand with Memory Box Candle Co. But I know myself, and man, I gotta say, my ADHD tendencies in the moment, I'm like, that is the best idea I've ever heard in my entire life. But when I think about it and I have to really ask myself, okay, Erica, is this something you're gonna be able to follow through with 3 months from now, 5 months from now, 7 months from now, when it's not as exciting and like, oh my God, this is great. I have to be able to follow through with it. And I refuse to commit to doing something if I can't follow through with it. And because I just hate feeling like I'm failing or I'm letting people down. And I felt that way before with things that I've done. So I have not pulled the trigger with that yet. I think the only way that I would be if I set it up to where I knew exactly what scents were going to be released January through December. I had it all planned out, at least for the first 6 months, and then worked on the next 6 months. But I think for me, I'd have to know all 12 months on what exactly I was doing and have it set for just that amount of time, and then possibly renew for the next year, depending on how well it went. But anyways, enough about me and how I think about subscription boxes and my capacity to handle it. Subscription boxes are a great way to know the income that you're going to be getting the next month. Obviously, there's going to be people who will cancel at any time. Obviously, there's going to be people who will sign up at any time, but you have a better understanding of how much income you are going to be bringing in. And I'm not going to lie, I have thought about how do I get some kind of reoccurring revenue in my business, whether it's in my candle business or my more coaching candle business, my personal brand website. I've thought about how can I have some kind of reoccurring monthly revenue, because it's such a great thing to have, especially for businesses where knowing how much money you're going to be making per month is very difficult. It's very difficult to predict and know exactly how much you're going to be earning, especially if you're trying to budget and get that whole situation figured out. It can just be really hard. So if you have a stream of revenue coming in that is more predictable, it's just awesome. So I've heard. Obviously, I've never done it before, but I could imagine that when you are getting that reoccurring monthly revenue coming in, that it feels so much better knowing at least that avenue, that stream of income is going to be relatively consistent month to month. Another way to make money in your candle business is to offer bulk discounts or bulk event candles. Now, a lot of times these would be smaller kind of products, so smaller candles, and maybe even if you do, room sprays, perfumes, wax melts, just having smaller versions. Of course, there will be still people who will want to purchase your full size in bulk. But what I would recommend is to just have this as an option, have this as a page on your website for people to be able to contact you if they're wanting, wedding favors, baby shower favors, corporate event gifts, whatever it is, to be able to give them a discount based on the number of products that they are purchasing. So this is not doing wholesale. This is just bulk retail. So this could be anywhere from 15 to 30% off of their order, whereas wholesale is 50%, sometimes more, for the retailer. So this is a little bit different. It's still a little bit more profit than wholesale, but you are selling a lot more at once, and you are still giving them a really good discount by purchasing, a good amount in bulk. So this is just a really great way to sell a lot at once. And the reason why you're giving them, that discount is because they are buying so much at once. So it's just a really great way to offer that in your business because it brings so much value to your customer. Another way that you can bring in income for your candle business is to do in-person markets. So to become a vendor at a local event. This is such a great way, and I've said this so many times, but it's such a great way to get started in your candle business because you get so many benefits. I mean, there are so many benefits to popping up in your local community, not only to just showcase your brand, share your brand, get the word out about your brand, but you get immediate feedback in person from those customers or potential customers right away versus just kind of being behind the screen, launching online, and then not being able to see your customers face to face. I waited way too long, about a year and a half before I ever did a vendor event because I was so nervous. I was so nervous to become a vendor, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta just, this is my baby, this is my brand, like, are people gonna like it? It was just so much pressure. But when I did it, and of course we've done countless since then, and we wouldn't get nervous at all now, but in the beginning, it's nerve-wracking. But then once you get the hang of it, you get comfortable, and it's so much fun. I remember our first vendor event was the most fun that we've ever had, still to this day, at a vendor event. It just felt so busy. It was Halloween. We were passing out candy to kids. It was just so much fun, and being able to share the brand with everybody and get that immediate feedback. But it's a great way to be able to bring in an additional stream of income. Because if you think about it, online sales versus in-person markets, it's two totally different streams of income. You can have one that's doing really well, maybe one that's not doing as well, and then vice versa. So if you are looking at your month and you're predicting, okay, I don't know how, the online sales are going to do, so maybe I'll do a couple more markets in order to supplement that income there, because you're never going to have all of these income streams all completely, like skyrocketing 100% as high as they can go all at once. I've seen that with all of my multiple streams of income. There's always ones that are doing better, always ones that are kind of by the wayside. And then when I try to work on those ones, the other ones start to fall down. If you're only one person, it's very challenging, but you can do the best that you can. But knowing that you have that as an option to bring in more income if you're feeling like, oh, I don't know how it's going this month with online sales, there's always the in-person markets. And again, I understand those are not a guarantee of making money, but we've always made money at markets, and it's kind of one of those things where, you have the potential, you have that option of being able to draw in those customers and make those sales. And that's better than not giving yourself that opportunity. And then bouncing off of the in-person vendor events would be in-person candle making workshops. Now, as you know, if you saw any of my recent videos, this is something that we have taken, kind of dipped our toe in. We did our first candle making workshop, thinking about possibly doing another one in the near future. And it's just a really cool way to make additional income. Now, something about this to note is that you may not be profitable your first 1 or 2 candle making workshops because of the supplies that you need. But then moving forward, it's a lot more profit as you are doing these candle making workshops. But it's just such a cool way to look at business, just a completely different way to utilize your candle business. Making it an experience for people is so cool that we are able to do that as candle business owners. And it's cool to be able to, work one-on-one with people as they are creating their own scents. And you're meeting your local community, meeting probably potential customers or your own customers if they are wanting to come to your workshop if they already purchased from you. And you could also advertise these workshops at local vendor events. So there are so many ways that you can kind of combine the two and work hand in hand if you're really building up your local following and wanting to increase your revenue locally. So I just wanted to throw that in there because it's such a good way to kind of combine those. If you can set it up to where you have a vendor event maybe a week before your actual, candle making workshop so that you can advertise it and really utilize both of those areas in terms of, marketing at your vendor event. So when it comes to candle making workshops, this is such a different way to think about your candle business. It's that different stream of income. It's more of an experience that you're giving people, but there's so much positivity that can come from it because you're giving experience, you're meeting your customers, and then you are also getting a really good profit by being able to charge a little bit more for the experience of candle making than you would have just by charging for the candle itself. And then I have 2 more ways that I'm going to share right here that you can make money in your candle business. The first one is wholesale. Now, you may or may not know, wholesale is our biggest stream of income for our candle business, and we utilize FAIR. And we've done really well on there. So wholesale is basically where you just take your products, you discount them 50% where the retailer purchases those products from you, and then they double that price and sell it directly to the consumer. So the end price of the candle itself becomes the retail price, because the retailer is able to resell it for their profit. So we're getting a profit, they're getting a profit, and then it ends up in the hands of their customers. So wholesale's really great because it has a lot of possibilities. You're able to work with so many different places, have your candles in so many places that you wouldn't have otherwise, because if there is a gift shop, 7 states over, and you're like, okay, well, I wouldn't be able to walk in there and get my candles in there. But because of wholesale and online platforms like Fair, it's a possibility. And you have no idea how many people are going to, walk past, smell your candles, buy your candles, and the potential of them, coming back directly to you to purchase products from is also a possibility as well. And then bouncing off of wholesale, is to offer white label or private label. Now, I saved this one for the last because it just made sense in the order of everything, but also because I feel like a lot of people are a little bit more hesitant with offering this, and I totally understand. But just hear me out. So white label and private label is where you are able to add customizations for other brands. You're essentially the manufacturer for other brands. It could be, candle businesses, could be spas, resorts. I mean, we've had wineries, we've had so many people, interior designers. I mean, people that have their own brand that want their own branded candles, but they don't want to have to make the candles. So that is where we come in, is we offer white label, which is essentially just taking our products, our scents, our wax, everything, and just changing up, putting their brand name on it, and then they have an optional scent name that they can choose as well. So they can choose a different name for the scent. And there's also private label as well, which is something we do not offer. But a lot of people do offer this, and it's where people can have more customization. So they can choose their jars, they can choose different label paper, different label styles. They can choose different wax, whatever it is, different scents mainly. It's usually jars and scents. And this just creates a whole new way to be able to make money in your candle business by not even having to worry about selling directly to the end consumer. All you're worried about is having your customers who it's their job to sell directly to the end consumer. So it's really that trade-off there, to where you are making less profit on your products that you're selling, but you don't have to worry about selling it directly to that end consumer. And then in terms of private label and white label, you can also charge more for it than you would wholesale, and you can also have higher minimums as well. So I feel like we do white label, and I feel like we should have done different minimums for white label, but I just didn't know how to set that up on Fair because of the way that we have to do this workaround in order to charge for it. But if we were to do private label, we would absolutely have to have minimums. And if we ever did custom scents, we would have to have minimums in order for people to purchase from us. So they'd have to order a minimum of a certain amount of candles in order to get that custom scent. But there you have it. Those are 7 different ways that you can diversify, have different streams of revenue going on in your candle business. And of course, I didn't even mention things like if you wanted to really take things out of the actual candle business side of things and do coaching or mentoring for other candle makers or candle business owners, that's also an option as well. But if we're just looking at selling a product and really in the sphere of the candle business, these are really great ways to diversify and get more streams of income coming in to your candle business. And with that, I'm going to end the episode right here, and I will see you in the next one.